Yeah, and I say I'm from Troy because I was 200 yards outside, and not everybody knows where Goshen is. So I was much closer, grew up much closer to Troy, though I attend Goshen, Pike County Public Schools all my life. Very proud of that fact. Absolutely. We did things that other people were doing with bush hogs, and that were able to afford those things. We had cows. We worked cows. I cleaned more catfish than I care to remember, and that's a large part of who we are. And we did it, and we enjoyed it. It teaches you work ethic, beyond a shadow of a doubt. It teaches you to do things for intrinsic rewards as opposed to extrinsic rewards. Just there's a gratification in just doing. There's a lot of service learning that occurs via that type of lifestyle, and I think that service learning carries itself working for others, doing for others, giving to others, being kind, being compassionate. It carries into adulthood. We knew that there was a need to, again, personally and professionally, to look in other places, to just see what else God had in store for us. And I don't apologize for this having spiritual overtones today. That's just who I am, okay? And I'm speaking the truth. So when you start seeking that, you better have your running shoes on. Doors begin to open. The people, absolutely the people. When I first came, I was very impressed, and still very impressed, with the staff here at Central Office. Very intelligent, very knowledgeable about education, very astute as to people. The people in the community have been very kind and easy to work with, very interested in growing the educational system here in Phenix City. I have found, number one, highly intelligent students. Students that want to learn, students that want to grow, students that deserve the best opportunities when it comes to college and career. I have found a very willing and very capable staff, teachers that are on the cutting edge. The diversity of our school and school system is tremendous. Not only do we retain a lot of people from Phenix City, but we have a lot of people across the United States, and bringing that diversity, and I think Fort Benning's got a lot to do with that. Bringing that diversity into our schools and giving kids really a global look at things, not just one that would be domestic. The ideas. When we sit down at the table and we have conversations with teachers, we have ideas from Georgia, we have ideas from New York, we have ideas from California, because these people come from all over. This is how we did things in Texas. This is how we did things in Utah. And so that's very interesting. And that diversity, I think, is going to produce a student that's much more capable to be successful when they graduate from Central High School. It does. In every facet. And when we are educating kids, we are looking at them intellectually, we're looking at them socially, we're looking at developing them physically. And so in every aspect, somebody from a different part of the world brings a little bit different take to the table. And I think that does help produce much. And our kids are going to compete. They're going to compete globally one day. So having that and listening to that and implementing ideas thereof, very important. The most important aspect of my life, period, is the spiritual aspect of things. Growing up in that type of home where you loved people that you did not even know, you certainly loved your brothers and your sisters, you loved your parents, you had a great deal of respect for your parents, you worked hard, you did things without asking, just simply because you were asked. Wednesday night it was church, Sunday morning was church, Sunday night was church. That spiritual aspect was life's blood. It was in everything that we did, and giving to others, doing for others, serving others, and that's really the reason I'm here in Phenix City today, is to serve others. I believe that this is a ministry. I do think that it is a calling, and so, I mean, those things, who you are and what you do, really develops what you become. And I would say every one of those played some role, some facet in where we are today. It capitalized on the work ethic that I already had. First to practice, last to leave. Leave everything out on the field. Don't carry anything home with you. Work through the obstacles. Forget the last play. New play coming up. When all else fails, keep your feet moving.
I mean, for most people, when they go to college, they go, 50, 100, 200, 300 miles away from home. What was it like to be able to go from high school to play college football in your hometown all the way through?
My mom would have thought it was 200 miles. Let me say that, okay? No, it was a whopping 5 or 6 at tops from the house. I grew up watching Troy State football every Saturday that there was a home game. When I was 15 and 16, my dad was an official, and I got to pull the chains. I was on television pulling the chains when Troy State played University of North Alabama, which was a rarity to be on television. I don't know if you remember that game or not.
I don't.
But actually got to pull the chains during that game. So I had cousins that were in the Sound of the South marching band. I just thought the Sound of the South was, the greatest band around. I still believe that. And if you ask me today about being an Alabama Auburn fan, I'm probably one of the few people will tell you neither. I like both schools just fine, but we're Troy through and through, my family. Just felt led in that direction, and the real emphasis was teaching, mathematics. But the other flip side of that, and I'd have to say for me it was probably 50-50, was the coaching aspect of it, because I enjoyed football that much. I think it's somewhat natural, because so many develop that leadership ability as guiding and leading a group of young men, young women, whatever you're, the group that you're coaching there. So I think it's a natural progression for leaders to mature and grow into that of a school leader, school principal, administrator. But I would say this for young coaches, you have got to be an excellent classroom teacher. You must be. That comes first and foremost. If you don't have that background, it's hard to lead others.
I mean, you were teaching upper level math.
Geometry was my favorite. Love geometry.
Who loves geometry?
Two parallel lines cut by transversal, alternating interior angles are congruent. Love it. Love it. I mean, I'd sit there and there's so much natural application in the world today that we're sitting in that is geometric. And it was the one math that made sense. What X was today, that may or may not make sense to me. But I understood geometry. That's so important, though. People and relationships are the most important things in this world. We were set here to establish relationships, and I believe that. And if you can't be cordial, kind, and polite, you can't build relationships.
You say y'all are a team.
We are, absolutely. She is the best part of Randy Wilkes. The rest of it's filthy rags at best. She is by far and above the best thing about me.
Your family, both of you, what's your oldest son do?
Hayden sells insurance for my brother there in Troy.
And your youngest son, Ryan,
is a junior at Troy.
Ryan's a special needs child, right?
Ryan has Duchenne's muscular dystrophy.
I know what muscular dystrophy is. What's Duchenne's?
Duchenne's is a terminal disease. It is the in Ryan's particular case, as I told you on the phone yesterday, his exons, which build the muscle, he runs up to exon number 45, and he does not have exon 45. So his muscles do not know how to react and respond in the muscle building process. So they build pseudo muscle, and his prognosis originally was that he wheelchair by 11 and that he would not live beyond 17. Now, we can talk openly about these things because Ryan can talk openly about these things. Ryan has a tremendous testimony, and he was diagnosed at age 7. We had no idea why he couldn't run to first base. and we'd get on to him, and he'd get frustrated, and he'd go in the dugout with T-ball, and Ryan was a real competitor then, and he didn't like to get thrown out, and
So you first saw it. I mean, it became noticeable when he was playing T-ball.
Mm-hmm. It became very obvious then, and we really just didn't know. He slept a lot. Ryan did not want to go to school. At Christmas, something clicked in his kindergarten year. Ryan may have dropped out before Ryan ever got started. And we had no idea. So when he was 7, after we went to the beach during spring break, we took Ryan to his pediatrician in Montgomery, and he asked Ryan to sit on the floor, and he asked Ryan to stand up. And I think the name was Growers, Crawl. I may be mispronouncing that. The doctor went and got a book, and he came back into the room, and on the cover of the book, it had a child getting up off the floor the same way Ryan got up off the floor. He says, "I'm not saying, but I want you to know what I see." We had no idea what muscular dystrophy was.
What was that like? I mean, what
It's the worst day of your life. We went through so many specialists just to begin with, to see what we could do, and it was very discouraging to know that there's no cure. And today there is no cure. All you do is postpone. Oh gosh, you don't make excuses. Whatever life gives you, you do the absolute best with it. There's no doubt that has prepared me to do this job here. No doubt. And I don't want to take anything from Hayden, because Hayden is special in its own right, and he adds so much in understanding.
Or the brothers
time.
class.
Oh gosh, yes, absolutely. I mean, he's the one that gets the wheelchair ready and gets in places, and when we give out at the zoo, he'd take over. Hayden's a 6'3", 250-pound young man, and he didn't have any problem pushing his little brother wherever his little brother needed to go. But he had a 102-degree temperature during one of his finals during the winter. Most kids would have said, "Forget it, I'm not going to do it." But he got up. He got his lift. Have you ever seen his truck?
No.
His truck, his driver's side door and his extended cab are welded together, so it moves out parallel, and the bottom of the truck drops down, so to speak, and he backs into that tray, locks himself into place, picks him up, sets him underneath the steering wheel, and he has the hand brakes and everything. So he has to do all that just to drive 20 miles every day, sit through the class, take the final, and come home. Ryan's the ultimate, and life's not fair. Let's understand that first and foremost. Anybody tells you life is fair and that we're all born, I don't know who said that, who made that up, but life is not. We don't all come into this world the same, but Ryan is one of those that says, here's an opportunity, let me capitalize on it today. And he gets up every day with a smile on his face, and he goes about his day, and he does what he can. Kathy actually gave me for our anniversary a picture that sits on our wall, and it talks about the journey of life, never knowing where it'll take you. And we're on a journey, but we're on that journey together as a family and as a unit. So yeah, I was going to show you a picture of Ryan. I ran something in Monday's encouragement that said basically this: I'm not an intelligent man, I'm not a genius by any means, but I am full of life experiences. And it is taking those life experiences and being able to share it with others that just allows for others to grow, systems to grow, organizations to grow. It's the fertilizer right there. And if we've got those life experiences and we're not sharing them with others, we're probably not doing what we need to do.